Okay, YouTubers, here I am working on my girlfriend's Hoover SteamVac. The problem that she was having with this is everything worked fine except for the spray coming out of the when you have the upholstery cleaner on, the hose. So I did all the usual suspects, took care of those first. I took apart the handle and the jet nozzle where the trigger is, made sure the hose was clear, the trigger wasn't clogged up with old soap or anything. What you're really supposed to do when you're done using these things is run some warm water through, make sure everything's diluted down with warm water. And we lent it out to somebody, and of course we got it back, and it wasn't, next time we went to use it, it wasn't working. So it wasn't in the hose. So then I tried to figure out from there what it could be. I basically took the cover off the unit, which is here. There's a couple screws on the bottom, a couple screws on the top, and that pops off. Followed the hoses down from the tank to where they all go, figuring, it's something in a hose or orifice or something's clogged up. All the hoses, these are the hoses that come down from the tank. I took them off up at the top by the tank, and I took them off down here by the pump, and then we're all clear. So I proceeded on. I thought maybe it was in this check valve when you put the hose on. There's this check valve here. I thought maybe it was clogged in there. It was not. So what it turned out to be, I believe, and I'll know as soon as I get this thing back together and fire it up, it turned out to be this pump here. To get this off, you first have to remove the drive assembly for the brushes. There's 2 screws here, and then from underneath there's 2 screws, and then that comes up. You have to remove this hose, blah blah blah. Once you get that off, this is kind of under, there's a screw underneath that. I got it apart. There's a screw here, and from underneath there's a little square hole, and see, even when you remove that screw, you can't pull this thing out. So, hold on one second, and I will show you where that square hole is. Square hole is right here, and what you have to do is take a screwdriver, and there's a little gray tab that you have to pry up in order to release a locking mechanism on that pump. So I got to do this with 2 hands because I got to pull the pump from the other side. So you basically pry up here and pull on the pump from the top side. Once you do that, this comes off like so. Again, I have already had this all apart. I'm just kind of showing you in reverse what needs to be done here. So once I got this apart, I first took out, there's a assembly here. I took out the 4 screws, pulled this off carefully, and inside there is where I believe I found the problem. When I first took it apart, this assembly here was not spinning freely. In this housing, there's like an impeller. The vacuum from the vacuum cleaner drives this impeller, spins this, and I guess that's what causes, that's the pump. This is the pump housing, and I believe that's what causes that pump to make the squirter go out of the handle. I don't know if that also works. It must not work the spray coming out of the base itself, because that was working fine. So I don't know. So anyhow, I freed this up by hand. I then also took it apart. If you see, there's these tabs here that you can, and I took it apart, cleaned out inside there. There was some soap, dried up soap in there, and hit it with a little WD-40. There's a brass bearing in this side, a bushing in this side. I kind of hit that with some WD-40 to make it spin a little bit better. I don't know how long that'll last, but anyhow, I think if we clean this thing out the way it's supposed to be, after every use, it'll be fine. But Well, time will tell. But I believe that's where the suspect, where it was. So basically, you just put it all back together in reverse order. This pump housing will only go on one direction. So you put that on, you put the screws in, you pop it back down in here, put the screw in there, put the drive motor for the brushes back in, and yeah, pretty much just pay attention, take pictures when you take it apart so you know how it all goes back together, and you should be fine. I'll try to let you know if that worked. I'll talk to you later. Hope this helps somebody out. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Thanks.